Hello again. Um, there are a few things that needed to be said, and if you are a um, ruminator of thoughts at any time, then you may have come to this conclusion already. So, if I'm saying that the psych drugs are making people intoxicated and their behavior is crazy, what happens when they are disruptive and the police come? And perhaps, which we've seen in several news reports, although I'm sure not all of these things are reported, the dealing with so-called mentally ill people. But it's mainly in the majority of so-called mentally ill people are toxified on these neurotoxins, psychiatric medications, and that's why they're loopy, crazy, sometimes very violent, and sometimes they get shot by police. So they don't go to jail, but they do get shot by police and killed. So this is the direct result of someone prescribing to an individual these drugs, which make them lose their cool, lose their minds, not really know what they're doing because they're intoxicated, right? So you've got police officers who think, well, I've done a pretty good job there. I've kept the peace in the neighborhood, and it's all safe now from this crazy person because he's shot and killed, or she is shot and killed. So this is what happens with people who are given these drugs. Um, they're also prone to homelessness, and they're prone to being misunderstood and shot and killed by police. It's happened here in Montreal. There are stories on that. So, this is the direct result of the chemists' drugs, and they know. They've shown videos. I saw a video once of I think, a cat they had in was it a clear plastic or glass box, and they've kept a video recording of this poor uh, orange tabby, a kitten, I would imagine. I was given some of the chemicals, and I don't know if it was LSD or what it was, but they were just jumping around involuntarily, hopping, freaking out, really, just splaying out their arms and legs, their front paws, their back legs, and this kitten probably the heart wore out after that chemical testing on that kitten. They probably had a heart attack. No, that would be the result of doing something like that to an animal. Now the thing is too is that what's happening is when people come off their psych drugs, whether it's in accordance with their authorities over them, I'm saying their psychiatric team, psychiatric doctor, and say, okay, we'll just taper you off these drugs. And well, if it's a year-long taper, it's possibly too fast, especially if someone's been drugged like I was drugged over the course of 11 years, over all of my 30s, which is kind of a blur to me right now. But no, I do remember everything that happened in my 30s. I do. And all the machinations by the hospital people as well, and family. Okay, so yeah, the withdrawals get mistaken for mental illness, and they get reinstated. And when you're reinstated, that's another kettle of fish. Now, these drugs are very, very bad. So we'll go back to the kitten the orange tabby who was given some kind of a drug that was making him freak out. And I think they were just, if you could find it on the internet, maybe it's psilocybin experiments, or maybe even not, or maybe just animal testing, or it's probably still there somewhere, where you will see this kitten just jumping with its legs and arms splayed out, just basically doing rapid calisthenics, like they used to do for some people in outdoor gym experiments. You can see that, for the, oh, well, let's go back to the Third Reich. Yeah. Anyway, so it's pretty nasty. So this is the kind of thing, this involuntary muscle movement that happens, or this inner agitation that happens with people on the newer psych drugs. So, yeah, you have people on the grassroots level understanding that when someone is prescribed a psychiatric medication, it's not a good thing. Basically, you make them apathetic, you make them zombified. They're like zombies. They don't really react to much. You could have a drooling idiot, especially seniors. Seniors who are given benzodiazepines. They're sitting in their wheelchairs and their head is dropped to one side and they're drooling out the side of their mouth. This is the benzodiazepines, for God's sake. No, I'm pretty, I don't know. I'm very angry about all this that's happening to humanity. I'm very angry about it. And I'm upset that I've got these painful injuries that I'm still having to mitigate on my own. But I do have the inversion table, which is the key for me to really gain back the mobility that I haven't had for so long. So you got a thing here where I'm now saying to you that the psychiatric medication makes people freak out. And when people freak out on these medications, so-called medications, neurotoxins, that's what they are. When they freak out on these, whether it's in withdrawal off these drugs, they're freaking out. And the police come, and to keep the peace around the neighborhood, they shoot the crazy person, but it's not the crazy person. So this person is victimized by these chemicals that they're not understanding what's happening to them. And then all of a sudden along comes this cop and whatever the person's doing, just, put them out of their misery and shoot them. So this is the direct result of what these drugs do. This is the direct result. It has been the direct result, and sometimes it gets into the news. Now, what's interesting is that I do have friends who work for the media. I have high school chums who made that their life, and they can't, they want to help me to get my story out, but they're, their employers, I'm getting an acid reflux to that. Their employers are stopping them from letting me say, look, I'm injured, I'm not insane. The drugs created the mental illness that was diagnosed or misdiagnosed. So, Caroline Van Vlartigan, old high school contemporary, she said, "Will do," and that's just been silence ever since. So, what the heck is going on here? And you got more and more people coming up on YouTube and showing their terrible suffering on these drugs, And they suffer terribly on these drugs. You suffer very, very, it's just incredible. The neurotoxins mutilate your brain. So, yeah, this is the other result that needed to be said, and that's why I'm saying it now, is that, yes, people who have freaked out, probably during withdrawal, off these neurotoxins, like the young man who brought a hammer to Barry de Montigny and started breaking glass. And then they had all these cop cars come in and they just basically killed him. So, he's freaking out from his withdrawal off his psychiatric medication. And a lot of people do just, they don't consult with anybody. They just say, I'm not taking these anymore because, I don't feel like I can move properly on this. They're sedatives and they just toss them. So, no one knows that they're going through withdrawal, and they don't even know what what they're feeling, and it's just too much. It's just too much. It's like that little kitten, that orange tabby kitten in the observation box, freaking out, doing jumping jacks in the glassed in or plasticized, whatever. I don't know how long ago it was done. It's color footage. Yeah, so this is what's happening. These drugs are causing neurological damage, Parkinsonian symptoms, and then of course they're having people who are given more drugs to for another diagnosis, which is nonsense. It's just people are walking around on these psych drugs, and they have to drink water a lot more because they're dehydrated, especially in the summertime. And this is how you manage seniors, is you give them with some of these psych drugs or benzodiazepines, like the Valium that was given my mother. They become irritable. And, when you're dehydrated, you're irritable. You are. Oh, and that's something else I wanted to talk about. Growing up in my teens, sometime around the age of 17, I'd already been given Fiorinol for migraines from the age of 12. I don't see any stories on Fiorinol anymore, but it's a barbiturate, and I was given that as a 12-year-old because nothing else would help the migraines. But here I was as a toddler climbing up onto kitchen counters and then falling after I couldn't hold on to the cupboard door and flat on my back and winding myself. Well, you grow up, what are you going to have? Migraines. You're going to have migraines because your spine has been damaged and you're out of alignment, and probably with the not very advanced intelligence of people, parents, who had just witnessed not just one world war, but 2 world wars. Parents in the middle class, they would drink and they would smoke. I think maybe a generations later. But my parents, they were into jazz and they were into drinking alcohol and smoking cigarettes. But I guess, some of my friends who were younger than I am by 20 years, they had parents who were hippies, flower children, love, psilocybin, LSD, marijuana, hashish, all that sort of thing. We haven't really settled down yet because there's so many people now who are saying, oh, well, that's good. Thank you, doctor. I will fill this prescription of this antidepressant right away. That's going to help me. Thank you so much. And I'm going to come back and I'm going to say to you, oh, that has really helped me. Thank you very much. And then the years go by and they're thinking, wow, this is not really good. I can't read a book anymore. I can't concentrate anymore. I think I'll ditch this drug. And he's a parent. Okay, he's a parent, an adult with children. And he just tosses his drugs and he goes through these horrific withdrawals that he's not anticipating and nobody knows anything about. And the symptoms just drive him crazy like a little orange tabby cat doing jumping jacks in an observation box. This is what goes on, and this is what's happening. And we're not out of it yet, because this is a deliberate dumbing down of populations in order to control them, to to tell them all kinds of stories that they're supposed to believe in this mainstream. People who are mainstream, I just about have no time for. Oh, I swear. But even though, I love my friends very much. And, my librarian friend, Sue, she's totally mainstream. She doesn't want to hear anything that could be possibly the real truth of what's going on. Back to Operation Paperclip and why some of these Nazi scientists were allowed to do what they did, and why some people in Montreal wonder who the heck was that face hovering over me with that gap between his front teeth. Some people, they're flashbacks, memories. Yeah, no, I'm moving painfully because I've got a ball behind my back, so that watch, it's gonna inflate. It bounces back. All this new technology, pretty cool. But this ball holds up the ribs on the right side that keep on collapsing on the nerve painfully for me. It's been like that for years. Oh my goodness. Okay. Whoa. It'll flatten a bit and it'll... I'll go back to it. But I'm moving painfully, yeah. I'm moving painfully. This is what I have to deal with. And the other thing too is that when you're given psychiatric medications, a lot of the people I knew, they had missing teeth or no teeth at all, because it affects your digestion and your hair on your head too. You frequently you'll see somebody who has like alopecia. Oh, the other thing too is some combinations of the drugs, you can make people go blind as well. I have a friend who was going blind on these drugs, but she thought she had a chemical imbalance. A lot of people, I've spoken to them and told them my story, and they'll say, well, no, but it doesn't apply to me because I have a chemical imbalance. But I just told them that a chemical imbalance is a myth, is a lie, is a misnomer. It doesn't exist. There's no blood test There's no chemical imbalance. What the fuck? Yeah, I'm getting a little. So, yeah, Christian. Yeah, right. No, I am 59, okay, and now I've had 20 years of constant pain under a heinous lie that I just can't tackle without a divine intervention, and I'm allowed to say what the fuck from time to time, okay? And people don't know. In the schools, they are so brainwashed. But speak of brainwashing, there are none so brainwashed as those who tell, they're trying to make mainstream accept them, but they're unacceptable.